Now, I know what you're going to do. You're scared of the Swifties. You're tired of us being bullied, aren't you?
I'm not, because this is the one time where I feel like Taylor Swift and I would have something in common, besides our wealth and our riches and our private jet.
You're handsome, you're gorgeous, your skin is flawless.
Something I think I said to him out loud once, accidentally.
You shot your shot, Beadle. You shot your shot.
Okay, but the alternative is Beyonce.
I love Lorvis. Am I allowed to say that as a...
You're allowed to say that.
We've now established that Beadle has a gambling problem and a drinking problem.
I've been known to partake in some Fireball. I have not done it since.
Can I just not cry for Jay-Z and Beyonce?
No, I'm not crying.
We all think we're better than everyone and we could do a better job.
We're never going to get invited to a Trevor Noah party.
And his desired audience average age is like 73.
That makes me cringe a little bit.
Do you want to put The Rock in a situation where he's legitimately getting booed when he finally comes back at WrestleMania?
Oh, was it predictable? You knew what was going to happen?
Go listen to Zach Lowe. We're going to talk about the Grammys for a moment, shall we?
From Wondery, I'm Michelle Beadle.
I am Peter Rosenberg.
And this is Over the Top. Here is how this show works. Best stories of the week in sports and pop culture face off to crown a champion and answer the simple question, what is the undisputed, most important thing on planet Earth this week? We're going to decide it the only way we know how, and that's using Royal Rumble rules. We start with two stories. We decide which one's more worthy to discuss and which one's got to go. After 90 seconds, a new story will be introduced, and we'll have to decide whether we want to keep talking about our current story or switch to the new one. We don't know the order of stories coming our way, but we do decide which ones get thrown over the top rope. Peter, what's first?
Beadle, let's get into it. The first two topics, fighting it out in the squared circle. Swerve. Last week, it was announced that Lewis Hamilton would be leaving Mercedes and joining Ferrari in 2025. Do we want to talk about that subject, which I know nothing about, or Joel Embiid, who has suffered a flap tear on his meniscus and will be out for an extended period of time after opting for surgery? Beadle, I'm going to leave this one completely up to you. These are your wheelhouses. I'll go along for the ride however you want to go.
This one's a curveball because one hand, you have one of the biggest stories to ever hit that sport. And then the other hand, you have Joel Embiid's hurt. So I'm going to gingerly ask Joel Embiid to show himself over the rope. But I would like to say this to Joel on his way out. We hope you get better fast. We hope there's enough time in the season to maybe make something of it, because this was an MVP run that has been cut short. And honestly, Peter, it sucks. It sucks.
Is there a timetable in any real way yet for Joel?
The problem is with that kind of a procedure, you don't really know what you have until you get in there and start digging around.
I hate when they say that.
I don't like it for a variety of reasons. It just sounds awful. But yeah, so 2 months would be optimistic. A lot longer could be also the reality. So sucks. But Joel Embiid, we're going to miss you for the next several. F1
now,
we go.
Explain the F1.
Okay.
Explain, obviously I can see on the surface what makes it partially a big deal, but set the scene for why Lewis Hamilton leaving Mercedes is such a thing. So
Lewis Hamilton is the most decorated F1 driver. He's a 7-time world champion. It's basically he and Michael Schumacher, who also drove for Ferrari, are like the names when you think of F1. And he's been at Mercedes forever. This was shocking. I knew it was shocking when the sort of reporters and insiders that I follow in the F1 world were blown away. There was no real hint of this coming. On top of that, you have the idea that now Carlos Sainz, who currently drives for Ferrari, will have to go find a new team. And remember, Peter, there are 10 teams, 20 spots total. So to get booted out sometimes is a bit of a stressful situation, but he will find a gig. It's just a matter of who gets booted for him. Lewis Hamilton is not done yet. He's 39 years old. I think he still very much wants to at least show Max Verstappen that he can be competitive with him. The weird part about it is that Ferrari's had a bit of a tough run in years past. They had a good season last season, but they tend to bite themselves, and it's the weirdest thing you've ever seen. They're self-sabotaging. I'm blown away by the news. I was trying to think of a comparable situation, and I think so. Here's what I think it would be. It would be like maybe the last couple years of his career, Derek Jeter leaving the Yankees and signing with the Red Sox. That would be the closest thing I could think of.
Wow. Well, but that is something. And by the way, not once during any of this did you mention that Lewis Hamilton is devilishly handsome.
Oh, I'm sorry. His skin is also flawless. Something I think I said to him out loud once, accidentally. Not embarrassing at all.
You shot your shot, Beadle.
No, I wasn't even shooting my shot. I just was like, how is this even happening? What do you use? But no dude wants to answer that question. And that's fine. Do you feel any clearer?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I do.
Okay,
I do.
good.
I feel I've learned something. I don't want to go as far as saying I'm an F1 guy now, but I just wanted to announce that I am starting an F1 podcast tomorrow.
Well, I will tell you this. Remember, they still have to race this entire upcoming season, which starts at the end of February, with their respective teams. And there's going to be a lot of drama. Toto Wolff's going to say a lot of snarky things, and I'm going to be living for every single one of those moments.
Wow. Is the Netflix show still rocking or not? Are they done docking?
They are, I believe they're renewed for another season. Unfortunately, I don't think they were taping during this point. This would have been dead.
That's dead sexy storyline right there.
It's the whole season right there. But they'll be there for this coming season, and that I don't think that won't be front and center. F1 starting the show. All right, Twitter. It loves this next challenger. The NBA trade deadline is tomorrow, 3 Eastern. Do we want to continue talking about Lewis Hamilton and the giant switch heard around the world, or talk a little NBA trade deadline, Peter?
Well, I've already tipped my hand before that I am not a huge trade deadline nerd. Like, even if it involves my team, like the Celtics look for depth. Listen, my team's very good. I can't imagine they're going to move anyone who's of a massive importance to the team. I'm interested, but I mean, the most interesting thing would be, of course, if something happened with LeBron. It's not going to happen. I guess Murray interests me a bit where he lands. Okay. But does Bruce Brown getting a new uniform affect me? Not particularly.
Really?
What about you?
I'm kind of hoping that we have a pleasantly surprising trade deadline ahead of us. That's where I am right now, because we've heard the same handful of names, but Zach LaVine now having season-ending surgery, that sort of eliminates that. But maybe the Bill, you know what? I think the deadline's got some stories.
All right.
I do.
Lewis, you're handsome, you're gorgeous, your skin is flawless.
It's flawless.
We bid you adieu.
Goodbye, sir. There you go. By the way, if you aren't watching on YouTube, great still of D'Angelo Russell and DeJounte Murray. 2 names that are very much a part of possible trades at the deadline. When you think about how many teams are in the market for something, and you think of how many players we've discussed that are possibly available, I got to be honest, it's a buyer's market. And I don't know that there are enough players for all of these trades that people are wanting. I have a funny feeling the Lakers may pull off something in the end. And I think Clutch Sports is a big part of that.
Do you think DeJounte Murray to the Knicks is a realistic possibility?
Let's just play that out, right?
All right.
He goes to the Knicks. Is he the ball handler now? Because I don't want that.
You don't want to take the ball out of Jalen Brunson's hands.
I don't want to do anything differently that Jalen Brunson's doing.
Right. You do not want him affected whatsoever. Now, could you put him back there with Jalen Brunson and just let Jalen Brunson handle the ball?
Maybe. I mean, but that's kind of the situation he's been in Atlanta. And I wonder if that's partly why he feels slightly maybe less than happy. We read a lot into when he blacked out his Instagram avatar, but it's now been over a month, and I don't think that meant anything. Does he get moved? I think so. From all accounts, he just isn't happy in Atlanta anymore. But does he go to the Lakers? I think he goes to Lakers before he goes anywhere else. That's my gut.
These are the kind of headlines that make me not excited about the NBA trade deadline. I'm looking at this NBA predictions played out on Bleacher Report, and one of the headlines is Kelly Olynyk gets moved. I'm sorry. Is that bad? I don't care.
Hold on. Ooh, I thought I was getting excited. I'm not. Okay, go on.
Didn't feel anything there.
No.
What about DeMar DeRozan?
I'm interested in that. I'd like to see DeMar get a real shot somewhere at a ring, but that means you're blowing up all the Bulls, which means there are multiple parts up for grabs if Chicago decides to go full sell. Where would you like to see it? Could he be a Knick?
People have flirted with that as a possibility.
They need a scorer. They need more scoring.
Yeah, another score is supposedly the piece they missed. The question, I guess, would be, is either DeMar DeRozan or DeJounte Murray that big a piece that, like, they go to the next place? Listen, I'll say this. No one knew that Brunson would be what he is to the Knicks, and no one knew that OG would be what he's been to the Knicks. So who knows? All right.
Not us. Perfect.
I am hearing multiple entrance music right now, different tracks all playing for this next challenger. I'm hearing some Killer Mike, some Jay-Z, and oddly some Taylor Swift, because there were a lot of moments at the Grammys. I won't even ask you the question of whether we're going to do Grammys. I'm just going to show the NBA deadline over the top rope. Enjoy yourself, basketball nerds. Go listen to Zach Lowe. We're going to talk about the Grammys for a moment, shall we?
Yes.
I have a lot of thoughts.
Okay, I love this.
Thought the Grammys were super compelling. Felt a little bit of FOMO because I haven't been out to LA for the Grammys in a few years, and it's a fun week to be there, obviously, if you're into music.
It's a good one.
And is any show better? The only show better may be the BET Awards at keeping you around with their coming up. But there was a lot of coming up that I kept thinking, I'm going to turn it off. I'm going to watch Curb Your Enthusiasm. And then they kept hitting me with more coming up. Now, the messed up part of the coming up game is they keep Billy Joel coming up until like 11 o'clock, and his desired audience average age is like 73. Let people go to bed. Besides you and me, Beadle.
I know. I was stoked for it.
And by the way, I didn't make it. I was asleep. I didn't make it. So Billy,
you didn't see that Billy Joel closed out the Grammys? Just picture it. You have that set up with the tables and all the stars, and then when it's all said and done and Taylor Swift does her final speech for Best Album, they go, all right, take us out, Billy Joel. Like, Billy Joel was basically the house band that took us out of the Grammys. And it was surreal because you could see he's looking out at the crowd, but the crowd's also getting ready to leave. It's just like a moment where I'm like, sit your asses down. That's a legend up there. But, who am I?
And that's another reason I would have had him on earlier. So, like, his last moment at the Grammys wasn't people, like, grabbing their cell phones and making to-go bags. While Billy Joel is singing, what was it? You May Be Right. What did he close out with?
Yeah, yep.
So, I mean, right? That's a little bit weird. But I have so much more. Let's see what the next challenger is. I'm rooting for Grammys.
Our next challenger. Don't look ahead. Don't you dare look ahead.
Sorry,
all right.
I looked ahead.
The annual NFL Draft Prospect Showcase, a.k.a. the Senior Bowl, was held this past weekend. I don't know if that's the first you're hearing of it. Do we continue to talk about the Grammys? I mean, do I need to finish
Senior Bowl.
Yeah, I gotta see y'all.
Goodbye, Senior Bowl.
We're not
no
even
one cares.
To done with the Grammys. Okay, go.
All right, back to the Grammys. God, this could go the rest of the show. I have
it
so
really
many takes.
Could.
So let's start out with a negative because that's how we do.
Yes, we do.
Beadle and I have been very Lorvis and Taylor Swift positive the last week or so.
Yes.
Because I don't know if you guys know this, but we live in a country where everyone's views are really affected by who are the people who disagree with me. Mm-hmm. And since the people on the other side of the Taylor Swift thing were so deplorable that we had to come to the pro Taylor Swift side.
I know.
So now I'm rooting for Lorvis, right?
Mm-hmm.
I see Taylor Swift. She shows up. She looks cute. She looks like a boss. She's being very Taylor Swifty. Okay, I'm into it. I'm along for the ride. And then the show starts. Mm-hmm. And I remember that the exact thing that football fans completely whiff on when they complain about Taylor Swift, like she's an attention hog at football games when she's not, that's actually what she is at award shows. I'm not saying it's intentional, but I can't say it's unintentional, Beadle. She's too big a star. Standing and singing for every other performance when you're that big a star, even if you're trying to be supportive, is it not a bit much?
I'm going to surprise you.
No, I know what you're going to do. You're scared of the Swifties.
No,
you're tired of us being bullied, aren't you?
I'm not, because this is the one time where I feel like Taylor Swift and I would have something in common, besides our wealth and our riches and our private jet. I feel like if I'm at these shows and it's such a hodgepodge of musical acts, I mean, you really do get all the genres. I'm always a little impressed that she knows the words to everything, but I would be her. I would be so excited and dancing and singing. So I actually find it to be, oh God, this hurts. Genuine feeling.
Wow. But listen, I will say, I actually get the same feeling too. I think it's genuine.
Super fan.
I just think someone genuinely should say to her, sit down because you're really a huge star and like you suck the air out of the room and you suck the cameras towards you, whether you mean to or not.
Okay, but the alternative is Beyonce, who's just like,
true. But
can
we get a middle ground where she just sits in her chair and sings along? But do you have to stand?
We could get that. No, okay, it's the standing. We don't like. Okay, I'm with you. We don't need the standing. She's also very tall, so good luck.
And you're very and you look just like Taylor Swift. Like we know who you are. Like the second you stand up. Now, this is going to be really compelling here because I'm not even done talking about Taylor Swift, let alone the rest of the Grammys.
Okay.
And yet our next challenger is here, and it is the Washington football team known as the Commanders. They have two new commanders in town. They have former Dallas DC and former Falcons head coach Dan Quinn as the new head coach, and former USC Trojans coordinator Cliff Kingsbury as the new OC. Do we want to talk about the Commanders' coaching staff? But now that I say that out loud, this sounds easier than I realized.
Yeah.
Or the star-studded Grammys.
Yeah, it was a weird weekend in Cliff Kingsbury news. The only compelling part of that story so far for me is what does he know about who's heading to the Commanders that made him back out of the Raiders job and go there? And he also just finished spending an entire season working hands-on with presumably the first pick in the next draft, Caleb Williams. So if you're getting Caleb Williams for your football team, mazel, Peter.
That is big news if it happens, but it also scares me. Like, what kind of deal are they making to move up one spot that like requires them giving a massive haul? And I'm going to have RG3 flashbacks. So,
damn. Okay.
I have some nerves about that. Also hidden in this story is the fact that Eric Bieniemy is now just out of a job again.
I know.
Like, not only is he not head coach, he's not OC. But anyways, you know what though? Sorry, Commanders. You've taken up enough of my life. Over the top you go.
Is this three rounds?
Yeah, Grammy's still rolling.
Ooh, all right.
Grammy's full of whammies, baby. Okay, so last thing on Taylor.
Yeah.
And again, I'm going to be rooting for Lorvis this weekend. I'm all for their love. I love Lorvis, but her album announcement thing was contrived and annoying too.
You didn't like that?
No.
Now you didn't think it was like, oh, what a fun time to do that.
No.
Okay.
And it was like, I've been keeping a secret for 2 years. Are you ready? I have an album coming. I'm going to go post the cover. It felt icky. I did not dig it at all. Now, positives. Tracy Chapman was amazing.
Oh.
I love Billie Eilish. She's awesome. Miley Cyrus's speech was great. Jay-Z, of course, gave a pretty memorable speech where he basically was like, yo, can the Grammys do things right? Because you guys do a lot of things wrong. Yep. My guess is the reason he gave the speech at all, because many people are like, well, if you have so many problems, why are you there? My guess is it was the first year that Dr. Dre award was being given out.
Yep.
Dre probably called him and was like, hey, dude, can you be the first recipient?
Yep.
And he's like, I guess so. Let me turn it into something else. And by the way, it is crazy. I mean, the fact that they don't give away best rap album.
Like, I don't get that. What are we waiting on?
Like, hip hop has been the most popular genre in the world for so long. Can we get like more than one award on the, like two? Can we get 2 awards on the show?
So there's cool. Not a singular rap category. Is that right?
Did they give out?
Or is there a song?
There may have been a song that went out yesterday, but Killer Mike did not end up on the main show. All 3 of those were beforehand. Maybe another one. Did Lil Durk and J. Cole get up? I don't know if anyone did. When I was watching, I didn't see one.
I saw Joni Mitchell. Does that count?
Joni Mitchell did make me tear up.
I know.
That song was like so touching, and just she's old, and she's Joni Mitchell.
Right, and her laugh at the end, I was like, she knows she crushed that.
Oh, and by the way, am I a bad guy? Like, I don't like Trevor Noah as a host. Am I allowed to say that You're allowed to say that. I'm sorry. Am I jealous because my dream would be to host the Grammys? Yes, I am jealous. Fine, I admit that. I'm 44 years old. The window is closing. Probably never going to happen.
How's it closing?
But if he was great, I would just hold the L and go, he was great. Trevor, why are you yelling at me the whole time? Why are you so loud and upbeat? Beautiful. It's going to be beautiful, people. This is beautiful. People, this is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. There's no natural conversation at all. I will say this, and this is my negative comment. I'm still waiting for one of the jokes to hit. You didn't think one joke hit? Not even close. Was there anything worse? Let's not just leave it on Trevor, though. Whoever wrote the Ziggy Marley bad Jamaican accent,
God.
You know how easy it was to do a bit there about like Bob Marley? You got weed jokes, you got Jamaican accent.
Jokes.
So much fun stuff you could do with Ziggy Marley. And he's obviously up for it because he even played along with horrible fucking jokes you did. You guys couldn't have come up with anything better than just being like, it's fire. It looked like it was literally like someone's 56-year-old mother outside of Albuquerque was like, come up with a joke for Ziggy Marley. It was horrifying.
Maybe it was Joe Coy's writers. Okay. Oh, we're time's up. Time's up. Time's up for the
We're
first
halfway
half.
done. First half.
Holy crap. We flew through that. And believe it or not, halfway through and the Grammys are still reigning supreme. This is kind of a big deal.
I respect this. And by the way, it makes sense.
It does make sense. We'll be right back. And welcome back to Over the Top. Peter, we got Grammys still going. What's our next challenger?
The Grammys are rocking, and now this will be tough because now you're mixing, you're taking some of my loves and pitting them against each other.
No.
The Rock will apparently face Roman Reigns for his WWE Undisputed Universal Championship at WrestleMania 40. But fans kind of revolted on Friday night when The Rock appeared, when it became clear to them, at least in that moment, that we may no longer get Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns. The Cody stands went ballistic.
Who knew?
And all of a sudden, people were anti-Rock. Do we want to stick with rock and roll or Dwayne The Rock Johnson?
Oh, man, this is tough. Can I ask one question about this? Was the entire point of the Royal Rumble not for Cody Rhodes to get a match at WrestleMania? Did I have that wrong?
No, but apparently that match at WrestleMania will be with Seth Rollins and not with Roman Reigns.
Interesting. You know what? This one is a tough one for me because I'm interested in the wrestling, but did we exhaust our Grammys talk? I don't know.
There's still like a little bit of the Beyonce part of the Jay-Z speech to talk about that we didn't really hit.
I agree.
And like Billie Eilish.
I leave this up to you. It's a tough one.
Boy.
The fact that Meryl Streep is Mark Ronson's mother-in-law, that's all fun to me. I love it.
All right. Listen, we have a full WrestleMania season. We have 2 months. Frankly, the WWE is probably going to have to keep an eye on like just how this reaction is going.
Ooh.
Because I don't know, do you want to put The Rock in a situation where he's legitimately getting booed when he finally comes back at WrestleMania? I don't know.
I can't even imagine that.
I know, but it's possible. So I am going to show The Rock and Roman, the head of the table, over the top.
Just slowly and with all due respect.
No. With all due respect. You know, I had a situation today. I don't want to get into details publicly.
Oh.
I had a bad interaction with someone today, and it legitimately happened because the person said no disrespect so many times that I said to them, this is my real life. The amount of times you're saying no disrespect gives me no choice except to feel disrespect.
Yeah.
When you hit me with multiple, like no disrespect, but
blah,
like
blah, that.
and no disrespect. It's
straight.
disrespect.
It's all disrespect.
But not to you, Rock and Roman. All right, back to the Grammys.
Grammys.
So yeah, the one thing Jay-Z threw out there, the hip hop stuff, I totally agree with. The fact that in this day and age, they're still not airing stuff, which he didn't get into specifically, but he did. He told the story of Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. So I'm with him in lockstep. But then he gets into the big thing about Beyonce being the most nominated artist of all time, maybe the most winning of all time as well, but has never won Album of the Year. And like that proves the point that the system's flawed. I don't think that's fundamentally true. Now,
isn't it a vote? It's a vote, right? It's not like empirical data or anything. It's
voting. It's a vote. It's a vote every time. Now, the problem is people are going in those big categories that mix artists from different genres, like Album of the Year.
Yeah.
The advantage kind of will always go to the more mainstream artists.
Really? Okay.
Because it's the voters are from every sort of, so all the country people, all the hip hop people, all the pop people, they all vote on Album of the Year, right?
Okay, yep.
So that will give an advantage to, say, Taylor Swift, who last night became the artist with the most Album of the Year wins in history.
Damn.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, So if you want to understand, by the way, why there is some blowback at times and why someone like me can find myself hating on Taylor Swift, even though she's dope and really talented, it's because like she was born in 1989. She has more album of the year wins than anyone in history at 4. There's a reason why the blowback, I think, can happen. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Do you think, and I know that there was a period of time where she used to win everything and we were like so annoyed by her over the top, like, oh, reactions. But I felt like she genuinely did not think she had the album of the year. Didn't it feel like, is she acting again? Or do you think she was like actually shocked? That
I think she might have. I think she might have been shocked.
Felt
I think
like
it was a really tough category this year.
Yeah.
I think she may have been surprised. And by the way, it's not to say that I don't think Beyonce should have won album of the year. She's lost to, see, and listen, this is what's tough about it. Everyone I'm going to tell you, the 3 that at least I can remember, are all mega pop stars.
Okay.
She lost to Adele.
Oof.
She lost to Taylor. And she's lost to Harry Styles. So it's like these huge, super pop, kind of non-genre specific, just pop stars that have to win album of the year.
A huge pop star too? Like, I mean, what?
She is, but she has her own genre also. Like she's an R&B artist, right? She's like an R&B artist who is hugely popular. So I don't know how you fix it. And my only point was just the fact that she hasn't won album of the year does not prove that it's flawed. Maybe she just happens to have a bad album of the year matchup every time.
That's fair.
I don't know.
That is fair.
And also, like, can I just not cry for Jay-Z and Beyonce?
No, I'm not
They're
crying.
tied for the most. They're tied. This married couple is tied for the most Grammy nominations in history. So I guess, and now, like, I don't know, Beyonce is like such a powerful woman. Did she need her husband to get up there and kind of be like, and what's the deal with my wife?
Yeah, I don't love that. That makes me cringe a little bit. But you know, we could keep talking about it. Maybe, because the
Maybe
next
it's over. We don't know.
I don't know. We don't know. This one's coming straight from the turnpike. That actually scares me to say that out loud. The 2026 World Cup final. The final, okay? The World Cup will be held in all the various big cities, big stadiums, Dallas, LA. I think here in Vegas is getting some.
I think Mexico too. And it's all over North America.
North America. But the final will be held in the mecca of football stadiums, known as MetLife out in Jersey. You know, home of 1,000 torn everythings. Do we want to continue talking about the Grammys or the fact that somebody had something on someone to make this happen? And by the way, if it helps, they are going to add real grass. Okay, go.
Yeah. They're switching to real grass. Can I, not to like ruin the party and not to also force the Grammys for another segment, is it really surprising that in the U.S. World Cup, they took the New York, people can keep saying it's New Jersey, it's the New York football stadium. Is it really surprising they're throwing it? Yes, it's a dump. It looks like a huge Venetian blind. It sucks.
And by the way, voted the worst stadium, I think, by players just this year. Like, they don't like it.
Players don't like it. It's not a great experience. Parking kind of sucks. The public transport's okay.
Yep.
It's not great. But still, is it surprising? I don't know. I mean, you know what? There's stuff to do here. What do you think?
I mean, we could talk about it because when you think of the other stadiums that are hosting games, this one feels weird to me. All right, we finally got here, throwing the Grammys over the top after it survived 4 different challengers. That is historic on this show. Over the top you go. Over and out, over the top.
As
Trevor Noah made the joke, it was not an award show for grandmas. That's one of the jokes I remember.
He said that.
I'll never forget it. I was traumatized by the lack of humor.
The problem is all hosts, like we are all by nature bad people to ask what we think about
100.
other hosts because we all think we're better than everyone and we could do a better job. Now, do I think
true?
Now, do I think Beadle and I could do a better job at the Grammys than Trevor Noah? You're darn tootin'.
Yeah, and I would rock that suit he was wearing. Boom.
He looked good, but the
just
jokes
shiny
and the energy was just not. It makes me nutty.
We're never going to get invited to a Trevor Noah party. Damn it.
No, I already pissed him off years ago.
Oh, so we're good. We're good then.
He had that right wing lady, Tommy Loren, on his show.
Oh God, did he?
And I went crazy. So okay, but we're not talking about that.
No,
we're talking about the World Cup in New Jersey. in New York.
Cups.
MetLife Stadium. All right, so, okay. All right, let's all complain about it. The
let's
place
get it
sucks.
out. Yeah,
Where
it
was
sucks.
it supposed to go? Where would we have been happy with?
Well, okay. How about the 2 brand new stadiums that have been completed within the last decade? Being one here in Vegas, Allegiant, which if I open up this curtain right here, you could see it. Brand new spaceship thing, thinking whatever.
It is awesome.
SoFi, which I say the one downfall for SoFi is logistically, again, awful to get in and out of. But so is MetLife, and at least SoFi's new and pretty and shiny.
It's in Los Angeles, which is fun. Although it'll be summertime, so the summertime in New York part won't be bad. But here's the problem.
That's true too.
All these people come to town for these events, and like the stadium's nowhere near where you want to stay or where you want to be.
No.
It's just, that is really what makes Vegas the best choice.
Thank you.
Vegas is amazing because, and Beadle knows this well from being there right now for the Super Bowl, you can walk to the stadium from your hotel, from many hotels. You could literally just walk.
Yep.
Jump
There's
in a cab.
literally
It's
downstairs. As I was losing more money in the casino, I realized there were signs that would have taken me to the stadium, which is probably where I should have gone. But
How down are you right now?
In the first 24 hours of being here, I'm down $2,500 on slots.
I would like to give you something. It is called 1-800-GAMBLER. I'm sure you've read it before on your many reads.
Don't worry, I'll come back. I always do.
Right. Up next, this one, guys. This could be it for me.
I don't like it.
This one could be it for me, though. I think this is the story of the week.
Yeah.
The beloved actor, Carl Weathers, who played Apollo Creed in the Rocky films, of course. He played Chubbs Peterson in Happy Gilmore. He was in Predator. He was generally awesome. He shockingly passed away at 76 years old. Do I need to ask you, do we want to talk about soccer stadiums, or are we getting rid of that and reminiscing on Apollo?
Let's reminisce, because it was a bit surprising. 76 is not old. It was allegedly peacefully in his sleep. Like I hate this story, but we do need to talk about it because he's so beloved. So crappy ass MetLife Stadium, just please, set yourself on fire. Okay, here we go.
But not with anyone inside.
No, of course not. Jeez.
Let me say this about Carl Weathers. The death of Apollo Creed in Rocky IV was the first heartbreak I ever felt in entertainment.
Wow.
I never felt heartbreak like that,
Peter.
Yeah, I was crushed by it, right? Crushed.
Yeah.
It was my first favorite movie ever, was Rocky IV. And the death of this beloved character, this best friend who had gone from being sort of the heelish show-off type in the first one to like this now like just beloved best friend who was like Rocky's rock. And then seeing him get killed by Drago, when he falls flat and he falls as the towel falls, heartbreak. And I always felt a little bit of like peace, because even when I watch it now, it's still like it harkens back to that feeling and I get really sad. And then I'm like, oh yeah, but Carl Weathers is alive and well. And like now he's not. And that is going to hit different and be extra sad when you see, I'm just being honest.
Peter.
You are going to be, I'm keeping it real with you, Beadle. You are going to be more sad the next time, because you can't turn off Rocky IV. You catch Rocky IV early, you're in.
Do you know that I have a custom Ivan Drago costume, custom made from back in my day at Sports Nation? Custom. Fits me like a T. I know that's probably not good for this particular story. I realize.
No, not at all. In fact, you're now wanting to portray a murderer.
It's not a murderer. It was in sport. For me, I love Predator. And Sylvester Stallone's statement, his video that he put out, was also heart-wrenching. Because again, as far as we know, wasn't necessarily sick or anything. It was just... And isn't he like currently in a commercial that's running?
Yeah.
I think,
he's in a Super Bowl commercial, I believe.
Shocking.
And I just want to throw out two more things quick. Okay, the Chubbs Peterson character is iconic, and Sandler's comments on him were wonderful as well. And also, like, don't take for granted, even though it wasn't a huge hit, Action Jackson.
Yeah.
They did not I don't know if you know this, guys, 1980s, they weren't throwing black leading men action movies. That was not, in fact, I could probably argue, look back, there still haven't been that many action series or movies given to a black lead actor. And Carl Weathers got Action Jackson, like a straight up ass kicking action movie with a black dude, was novel at that time.
Yeah.
And he was awesome. My cousin tweeted, I think it was my cousin who tweeted, he's just someone who you were happy every time he popped up on the screen. He
Great
really
way to
was
look
that
at
guy.
it. Yeah, he has that face that you're just like, yay. Yeah, so that is a sad story. As much as that story is important, good Lord, it's like a depressing one. But we have a new challenger, which is also weird.
Who is it?
Super Bowl party rules. This Sunday, not just about the big game, also happens to be one of the biggest party nights of the year. Do we want to continue talking about the passing of Carl Weathers and our memories of him, or switch to Super Bowl party etiquette?
Let's move on to the Super Bowl.
Let's do it.
As we say, rest in peace to Carl Weathers.
Yep.
Let's move on to the Super Bowl because Beadle, here's my biggest takeaway about the Super Bowl. And you may not, you're a big NBA person, so you may not like this. I think we need the NBA and the NFL to switch weekends, bruh.
What do you mean? Do the All-Star before Super Bowl?
And then have Super Bowl Sunday on the 3-day weekend. Don't we need that?
I don't mind it.
I mean, because listen, we all love watching the All-Star game, but like, unless you go to All-Star weekend, which is a limited amount of people, you don't really need the 3-day weekend for the All-Star weekend.
3-day weekend?
It's President's Weekend the following weekend.
That's a oh man. I don't have
That's a holiday? Yeah, every year,
it's
pal.
sales. Oh wow. Not for us. I still go to work.
People, it is a real national holiday. School's off.
Then yes.
Government jobs off. Don't you think it should be the Monday after the Super Bowl should be? All they got to do, listen, we know they're going to add another week to the season any minute. So
yeah, they are.
well, what do I mind if it goes to February 20th instead of February 13th? But I would love the idea because let's be honest, during the Super Bowl, Beadle, you want to get drunk. You want to have a real time.
Yeah, I've back when I hosted Super Bowl parties, I've been known to partake in some Fireball. I have not done it since because I passed out at my own party and didn't know who won and had to host a show about it the next morning. So,
I'm sure this was a long time ago.
At least 5 years.
Yeah, I'm sure people barely even, you probably had no success or shows at that time. Must have been your college show, I'm sure, way back.
My college shows were happening. No, I'm a big believer in that Monday should be a day off because even if you don't, it's such a fun night and it can go late depending on what time zone you're in. You eat a lot, you may drink a lot, you have people over, there's a cleanup situation. Like
it's annoying.
It's a big one. I'm good with that. If that rule changes, yes.
Yeah, we didn't really talk anything else about Super Bowl party rules, but I'm glad we discussed this rule change to life.
Yeah, rules are don't show up empty-handed. That's the only rule I can give you, and that goes for every party. All right.
So, by the way, if you're paying close attention to the show this week, we've now established that Beadle has a gambling problem and a drinking problem.
Oh, wait, I don't really drink much anymore. I really didn't even drink then. That's probably why I got so hammered.
Well, I was about to say, you know how you know someone has a drinking problem? When they say they don't drink anymore. Those are the best kinds of drinking problems.
I really wish I had as cool a life as like 3 people think I had, but I don't, and it's not cool. All right, go on.
No. All right, guys, this next challenger has been a divisive one.
Oh.
All right. The first episode of the final season of Curb Your Enthusiasm debuted this past Sunday, and the reviews have not been excellent.
Oh, was it predictable and you knew what was going to happen?
Do you want to stay with the Super Bowl, which has a lot of things to discuss? We haven't gotten into food talk, any sort of rules. Do you pay attention during commercials? Do people talk?
Yeah.
Or do we want to go to Curb Your Enthusiasm's rough debut, which Beadle would like to gloat because she doesn't like Curb Your Enthusiasm.
I just think it's a little overrated. That's all. And you know what? I know you watched it and I know you were disappointed. And for that reason, Super Bowl party rules is going over the top because I want to hear what you didn't like about this.
Okay. 5 Super Bowl party rules. You'll be missed. I had so much more to say.
Nope.
About 7-layer dip. Anyways.
Minus the beans.
Curb episode 1. First of all, I believe, in my humble opinion, as a huge Curb fan, it can struggle in episode 1. And it's not the only show. A lot of shows in the comeback episode.
Like each season?
Yeah, like the first one back can feel like a little bit out of sorts. Like they're finding their rhythm and it's just not quite hitting.
Fair.
This one, though, started with a lot of promise because I think the Maria Sophia character, is that her name? Did I get that right, Goldstein? Maria Sophia or Sophia Maria? Maria Sophia, I believe. I believe that character is so awkward and has so much promise that they started out with her and I'm like, this could be great. But then as the show goes on, they're just like, not only were there not any like major laughs, but they had multiple story things occur that were like unsolved. If you're paying attention, you watch the show, maybe you didn't think about it, but let me hit you with this. At one point, Larry explains to the guy whose party he was at that he had a conversation with a kid. Well, did I like fall asleep during that part, or did they cut the scene? Because he referenced something that never happened in the show. It was as if they had a scene, didn't have time for it, cut the scene, and still talked about it. I thought that was very odd. Number 2, there's a part where Leon eats a piece of birthday cake, and then
I do love Leon. I love Leon.
We all do. Leon was great.
All right.
JB Smooth's the best.
Yeah.
He eats a piece of birthday cake and then like covers it up and puts it back. Nothing ever happened. No one found the birthday cake. No message. Like, then they keep talking about how this corgi is fat. Now, obviously, I'm a corgi owner, so that strikes a nerve. Yeah. You know, Bear's not overweight. He's under tall. And so I took a little issue, but I keep thinking because Leon keeps calling the corgi fat, obviously now this corgi at some point is going to eat something. Like, that had to be the payoff.
Yeah, but no.
No, the corgi ended up sitting on a cell phone. It didn't have anything to do with being fat. It just, there was something a little off. And I'm really hoping for a big bounce back week this week.
Is there a chance, and far be it from me to defend the show, but is there a chance that this all gets tied in over the course of the season? Is that possible that it becomes like a fluid storyline, perhaps?
That is always the case with Curb, and it does look like next week's episode is kind of continuing from this story in at least some ways. I believe Larry has earned the benefit of the doubt, and I'm okay. Listen, 24 years, 12 seasons, like, it's okay that the first episode wasn't hitting. Tracy Ullman was great, though. All right. That's it for my thoughts on Curb.
I know, I like it. It's I wanted to hear what you didn't like about it. This is our final story of the day. Our official Super Bowl predictions. From the winner of the game to crazy prop bets. What are we putting our money on? Do we continue to talk about the downfall of Curb Your Enthusiasm?
No, it's not a downfall. It's not a downfall, and I'm done with the Larry slander.
Or do we switch to Super Bowl predictions that will 100% never blow up in our faces?
No more Larry slander show.
Fine.
Fine.
But if the second episode sucks, you have to tell me.
I will. I'll be honest with you, even though I don't want to be.
All right, Larry David.
You're over the top, Larry.
Yeah, over the top you go.
So, Super Bowl picks.
Okay. Serious ones or
serious
funny ones? By the way, did you know, I learned this today. I don't know if it's true or not because I didn't confirm it, but I'm going to say it's true because I like it. Did you know you can gamble on the length of Super Bowl commercials, which I thought that's reaching some weird levels, but didn't even know it was an option. And
I thought they were all like 30 or a minute, or
that's
like
what I thought too.
The occasional like movie trailer that's like 2 minutes, but like my first prediction: Pat Mahomes Sr. will be drunk.
Is he gonna even be at the game? Too soon for that.
That's a good one. Do they still invite him to the suite?
It's like a third strike you're out situation in Texas. I don't know how quickly the justice is served, but why are we?
Why are we gritting our teeth? Why do I sound like an old detective?
I didn't drunk drive. Why am I talking like this?
I don't know. Yeah, see.
Yeah, dude, get your shit together, son. Like, you can't do this. Your kid is like,
dude,
come on, man. He was driving unacceptable.
An open 16-ounce Coors Light can, bruh.
So Texas.
The week of
the Super Bowl.
That just reeks of like, I don't think I get in trouble. I'm
or a real problem. Or got a real problem.
Or both. They're both there. All right, pick for the game.
Oh yeah, okay. Oh, I think Kansas City wins again. I can't believe that though. I can't believe it. I'm with you. I can't go against them. I'll call it 27-24 Kansas City. That's I like that because that means it's a good game and a close game.
I think it will be.
We'll take it. How many shots of the $2 million suites with celebrities in them are we going to get? And do we believe that celebrities are paying $2 million for these suites?
Half of those suites were not paid for.
Thank you.
They were not. They're rich business people who just have them. How many people wrote it like here's my credit card 4393.
My Amex. Here we go. There's no limit on that. Go ahead and charge it.
All right, so I guess that is it. It kind of makes sense. Yeah,
it does make sense actually.
The new undisputed most important thing on planet Earth this week. Come on, guys. It is the Super Bowl.
That totally makes sense. We did. Do you think we got it right? We don't care what you think. We know we got it right, son.
Finally, we actually got it right. It is the Chiefs 27-24.
Buying it.
Over the 49ers. Beadle, have fun. Are you going to actually go to the game?
Oh, I'll know. I'll be on my couch in Texas for this one. Hosting a small gathering.
You know what? I would like to host a small gathering. My wife can't see. She was in. Now she's feeling more out. I kind of got to wait and see how the week goes.
Okay, well, you better hurry up because there are some preparations that you need to make.
I forgot. I need beans. All right, that is it for us. Tune in next week to determine the only thing you need to care about and what goes over